Hello. This is a first impressions video of the Armattan Productions produced Falcon 250. This frame is meant to run 5-inch props and is a unibody design, so which means that obviously that it's a one piece here, so it's something that I was looking for. I'm a big fan of Armattan. I have the Rev 2 and I also have the F14B, and I'm just I'm a lifetime fan of Armattan. They just have some of the best quality frames out there, very rugged, solid, and bomb-proof, and this one is no exception. This is actually made by Armattan, so they're using exactly the same carbon as they are on the other models that I use, and all their models for that matter. Let's see, this was designed by Morin, and he is selling this at the Armattan Productions website. You can go there and purchase it, purchase that there. Let's see, what do I love about this frame? I already mentioned the one-piece mainframe design, which is probably the main reason why I went with this one and not with the F15. It's obviously a little cheaper, but you know, it's not drastically cheaper, but it's quite a bit cheaper actually. So that was probably another factor, but not a big one, because I do not mind spending a lot of money on something that's really good quality, and the F15s and the 6, they are top quality. Yeah, but I did want to go with this design, so for a number of reasons. So let's just see the weight of the frame itself here. Let's see, put it on the frame, put it on the scale, and it's topping off at, make sure it's not hitting anything there. This is 131 grams, built without anything on it, just the hardware that was included, and the frame itself is let's see, 4mm mainframe, 2mm top plate, and 8 standoffs, as well as the camera plates at the front, which hold the HS1177 camera, which seems to be these days the go-to camera for everybody. It's I use it actually on my F14B, and I just love it. So it's great that it actually has the plates for that. A lot of frames out there don't, and you end up having to use those little plastic swivel mounts that either mount to the top of the frame or to the bottom of the frame. But it's great that you can actually make use of the camera mount itself on the sides with the screws, and they slide in here pretty easily. Big pluses about this frame: huge wide battery strap slits, which is great depending on how you're setting up your frame. So if you're running like a GoPro or something like that on the front, it's obviously going to add a lot of weight, which means you're going to have to slide your battery back a little bit more towards the back. This allows you to do that quite easily. Myself, I'm running a Mobius, which isn't all that heavy, and I'm going to be using a transmitter and antennas on the back and the camera on the front, so it's probably going to be pretty well centered. But if you're running something a little bit heavier on the front, you're going to have that flexibility. Another thing I like is this access hole in the front. Now, see, Michael explained the use of it, which allows you to have access to some of the VTXs out there. I have this VTX, which is the Foxeer 600 milliwatt one. It has like you can actually change the frequency with a little clicker here, as opposed to the dip switches like you would have on something like this. You can see at the bottom there, you change it by using these, which is convenient. And he had this access hole for being able to access that. directly through the top of the frame. Now, I think he probably made that with a different receiver or a different VTX in mind. Now I can actually access that, it's not a big deal, but I'm not going to be able to access the antenna holes and have access to this switch at the same time. So if I want access to flipping this switch whenever I want to, if I'm flying with friends or if I'm racing, then you're probably going to need to run your antenna out the back, because I can't move this up enough to get access to this hole and have my antenna come through this hole at the same time. So, but you know, a smaller one, it's still going to be kind of, I'm not going to have access to the dip switches either. If I put this on, the dip switches are going to be kind of back here. So perhaps this function of this hole was actually intended for a particular VTX, I'm not sure. So, but what it is going to give me access to is tightening. If I run this far enough back, when the antenna, I don't have an antenna on hand, but you know, let's see, I have an elbow in here, and as you can see, the elbow, I'll get the prop out of the way. I don't know if you can see in there. Let me see. You can see the connector going into the VTX there. That inside one comes loose often for me, and the only way for me to have access to retighten that is actually to take off the top plate, to have access with my pliers to get in there and tighten that up. Now, that's pretty inconvenient. I mean, it's, you know, that's just the way it is. Just because everything's so tight in there, the wiring and everything. So I can't get pliers in through here unless I take off the top plate. And I have a feeling that once this is mounted properly, I'm going to have access to be able to do that with this particular one. So I'm going to be able to just stick my pliers in. Obviously, I'm going to need some pretty thin needle nose pliers, but if the pliers that I have now won't fit in there to do that, then I will definitely buy some that will, because that's a great feature. Then I won't have to take this off all the time. If that's not a huge, if this whole dip switch thing isn't a huge issue, then I can, you know, set the VTX back here, and it will come up through the top of the frame, no problem at all. So so unfortunately, I can't access this and use these holes at the same time. So I don't know, maybe having this access port back further, like closer to the standoffs, or maybe even moving the standoffs a little bit more out to the edge, or, you know, I'm not sure, but for the particular VTXs that I have on hand at the moment, it's not going to work that way. So like I said, maybe Michael actually designed this around a particular VTX, I'm not sure. So yeah, that's pretty much what I don't know how, I can't remember what I said, but 4 millimeters on the bottom, 2 millimeters on the top, 8 standoffs. This thing is incredibly solid, and I'm just dying to get it in the air. I don't have my drivetrain, my power systems, or anything yet, so basically it's going to be a little while before I get into the air. But I just wanted to do a little, what do you call it? A little first impressions of the frame. So if anybody watching this video isn't familiar with Armattan Productions, I recommend going to Armattan Productions and checking that site out. They have lots of great frame designs in there. It is a company owned by Armattan, which allows people to custom design their own frames, and you can have them, you can custom design your own frame. If you have your own design, you can actually submit those plans in there and they can cut it for you. So This is a tried and true model. This isn't like experimental or anything like that. So yeah, most of them are. There might be a few experimental ones in there that people haven't put through the paces, and you know, I wouldn't buy a frame unless I knew it was unless it was tested. So anyways, don't know what else to say. I haven't even decided on what motors I'm going to go with yet. So but anyways, first impressions, very good. Good job, Michael. I can't wait to fly this.